Is he ready back there?
Yes.
Are you sure he's ready back
Yes.
there?
Blue screen.
Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy C. Brooks, Commissioner, Precinct 1.
Present.
Marty Van Ravensway, Commissioner, Precinct 2. Gary Fickus, Commissioner, Precinct 3.
Present.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner, Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Our invocation this morning will be delivered by Pastor Moses Rodriguez from Cameria Baptist Church in Fort Worth. After the invocation, please remain standing for our pledges. Thank you for welcome this morning.
Father, it is indeed a privilege to come before the one God who is in control, who is creator of all things. And so, Father, this morning we are very thankful because you gave us life. You gave us the ability to wake up and see that things are good. And so, Father, this morning we also want to ask that you be in our presence, in our midst. And we want to pray for these who lead this great county, a county in which we by choice live in. Give these people the integrity. Give them the courage. Give them the wisdom to be able to do the business that they have before them. Now, the rest of the day, we put it in your hands because we know that all that we do, all that we say, will one day be brought back, will be reviewed, and we must be able to say, it was I who did it. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flags, I pledge allegiance to these Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much again, Pastor Rodriguez, for being here today. Mr. Manius, agenda announcements.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have only one announcement this morning. This deals with the Elections Administration section, item 9F 1 and 2. Because of the governor's decision to hold the election on December 18th, we're going to ask that we hold these two items for 1 week. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of November the 13th and our special call meeting of November the 14th.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of both November the 13th and 14th. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Under our proclamations and resolutions, before we get to the item regarding the employees golf tournament, I do want to just make a couple of comments. This past Saturday we had the 8th annual National Adoption Day. It went fantastic. We have several people who helped with that process in their red shirts or in their red outfits. Would you all please stand up and let us have a chance to recognize you? Come on, stand up. You know, a couple of comments that I would make in regards to that. There were 53 families who participated in that. There were 72 children who were adopted, and it was quite an event going through the building, and we had a lot of folks who helped with that process. You had 11 judges who were there on a Saturday to help with the process. I don't know, is Kelly Swanda or Renee Sanchez? Kelly? The family law bar, you know, if you're not careful, I'm going to develop a new opinion of attorneys. I mean, they were there helping with the process, volunteering, training, really making this whole thing work. What it really amounts to is, if you look at it, it's an effort where a lot of folks come together and give a lot of their time and effort to help with what is a very, very rewarding process. Nancy Fisher, I saw her earlier with CASA, is here. We appreciate the work you do. The Sheriff's Department was there helping with the security and getting folks in and out of the building. I mean, it was a tremendous operation that was put together through a lot of folks giving a lot of their time and effort toward doing that. And without that happening, it's just without everybody helping in that process, it just wouldn't be what it was. And if you haven't had an opportunity to experience or to see that, I would encourage you next year to make an attempt to get over there and be a part, or at least just see the kids walking through the building and what's going on there. It really was a very moving day and event, and it would not have happened without the volunteer efforts of many, many folks. Everybody came together, and I really want to again tell everyone how much I appreciate the work, not only of the folks that are employees of Tarrant County, but also those people who work in the community. And again, I think it's just that spirit of Tarrant County and the fact that we're not, just out there in what's going to be best for us, but in what's going to be best for the community. And I wanted to thank you all again for that. And let's give everybody a big hand. And
In
after
addition, Glenn, many county employees contributed to the Teddy Bear Drive to make sure that each one of those children who joined a forever family that day had a teddy bear or a toy of some kind. Again, the Tarrant County employee family stepped up and did what was right, as we always do.
It was really neat to go into each one of those courtrooms and see those stuffed animals just all over the place in there, and it was again something that it was just it was a part of the day, and it was a very successful day. Now moving on to a obviously more serious deal, we've got Craig Maxwell here to talk about the employee golf tournament, and the fact that he, I guess, is going to let loose of that trophy that he's had hold of for. What you get when you let somebody else do the pencil figuring.
Those attorneys, they can do it to you, can't
That's
they?
right, I'm telling you.
Is that still called the Commissioner's Cup?
It's called the County Cup.
It's the County Cup.
The County Cup. Judge, Commissioners, thank you for giving me this opportunity to come up and share a little information about this event, along with presenting this to the winning team. It was held this year at Sky Creek Ranch, which is in Keller, Texas. This year we had far and away the most teams that we've ever had participate in this event. 27 teams, over 100 golfers were out there. It was a very nice day. Some played better than others. But before I get to the winners, I would like to recognize a few people that helped make this a very special event. There are some people that made some extra contributions to help with the food, the drinks, and the prizes. Commissioner Johnson, Judge Fred Davis, Mr. David Phillips, who's not here today, Ms. Debbie Snyder, and Mr. Doug Black. I really appreciate your help. Certainly helps out with everything. Thank you. And, of course, the credit union who comes to our rescue every year. They provided a gift bag that contained a cap, a golf cap, water, gifts. They also worked the registration table and created a slideshow after the event that was very entertaining to see some of the pictures of some of those that were attempting to golf out there.
I see our representatives from y'all stand up back there. Is this the... Three, well, there's any number of threes that come to mind when I see the three of them standing up. So it's We thank you very much for your support.
Sort of stealing some of my thunder, you know that.
Go right ahead.
They were right.
Go right
They were
ahead.
a little
I'm sorry.
later on in the presentation here, but.
We can do it again.
I would also like to recognize the Tarrant County Golf Board, Mr. Mark Mendez, Mark back there somewhere, Patricia Ward, Patricia around,
She's on vacation.
Mr. Jim Duff, who's back there tweaking and twirling the dials behind the scenes back there for you, Mr. Ray Rack, and Mr. Steve Sparks. And then, of course, our honorary board member, Mr. G.K. Manius, who sometimes comes to the meetings and provides some of the drinks and entertainment for
Mostly
us.
for refreshments, then.
And then a special thanks to the chairman of the board, Mr. Paul Wood. Without his tireless efforts, this would certainly be a lot more difficult on some of us, some of the others. Thank you, Paul. And I also would like to thank Miss Ann Farmer and her husband, I believe his name is Phil. She always comes out every year, provides efforts and help wherever we may need it. She's quite a special lady. She does a lot for this county and a lot for other people. Thank you very much. Now for the presentation of the County Cup. But before I get to that, I would like to give you a little, if you'd allow me a little latitude, give you a little history of the County Cup and how it came about. We wanted to...
Just remember, we have lunch today. 504C,
Mr.
which
Duff,
I think is back that way.
Mr. Duff said he was going to create a little light up here that was going to go red when it was... It's be real quick. We're getting close. But I did want to have a trophy that stood out, that was capable of withstanding water, wine, or anything else that people would want to put in here to drink or to pour out of here. It is a very nice trophy, and it was also Miss New Farmer also made this a reality by helping to pay for this. And without her and her staff, they really mean a lot to me and this golf tournament. Thank you very much, ladies. All right, since you want me to move on, let me get to the runner-up of this year's tournament. I believe they shot 64, which would be 8 under. A couple of them have been the bridesmaid 3 years in a row. A couple of them have, a couple of this group won it the very first year. Mr. Fred Erickson, Mr. Doug Black, Mr. Bill West, and Mr. Peter Hinojosa. Any of those in the audience stand up? All right. And to the winners who they pretty well lapped the field this year. There wasn't much contest. That group played very well. Mr. Steve Sparks, Mr. Ray Wright, Mr. Presley Darnell, and Mr. David Lobinger. Gentlemen, if you'd come up and accept the trophy, and I believe somebody's going to take a picture. Probably a couple.
Too many.
Is this the Board of Directors Cup? Aren't they all on the board?
A couple of them are.
Where did you finish, Mr. Maxwell, this year? Where?
It was a pretty disappointing day for the kid and the team. The team played well, but the captain didn't play so well. Thank you for asking.
You still didn't tell me where you finished.
I finished in the middle of the pack.
Did you have a good time?
It was a very good time. We all had a good time.
Would y'all, now I realize saying this to a group of attorneys is, would any of y'all like to say anything? Not you, anybody else.
I'm amazed to see Ray Wright standing there holding a trophy.
It's a shocking development for me, too. We want to thank the credit union and Paul. Paul's the one that really puts together the list of prizes, and, of course, the credit union puts together all the stuff out at the event, and they all the praise that's been given to them is well-deserved. It really is. We just had fun. So,
Thanks.
thanks.
Do we need to receive and file the
Please.
presentation?
That way we can move on.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the presentation of the Employees Golf Tournament Awards. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. You have before you the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Mayes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, under the administrator's section, item number 1, we're requesting that the Commissioners Court concur with the actions of the Hospital District Board of Managers and approve a lease agreement between the district and SWC Arkansas and Cooper Limited for the provision of the relocation of the Arlington Sanford Clinic Pharmacy.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Your Honor, members of the court, on item number 2, we're requesting that the court approve an interlocal agreement between Tarrant County and the cities of Fort Worth, Arlington, Haltom City, Hurst, Bedford, Euless, Grapevine, Forest Hill, and North Richland Hills as relates to BJA's Justice Assistant Grant Program.
Move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Rock?
Thank you. Regarding item number 1, we have a subrogation check in the amount of $3,295.87. We're requesting authorization for the auditor to cash this check.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Glenn?
Good morning, Ms. Glenn.
Good morning. I made it all the way up here today.
Yeah, we wanted you to get, we knew you had lunch plans with us, and
That's
it's a
right.
little bit of exercise here.
Thank you. I appreciate it. We have one item. We're asking that the court receive and file the personnel agenda.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second to receive and file the personnel agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Turner?
That was fast.
You snooze, you lose around
That's
here.
right. Good morning, first of all. I haven't seen you all for a while, but we've been very busy. 2 contracts that we have in front of you this morning. One is one that we have been working on actually since the first of the year. We started down a path several months ago looking at how we could better assess the risk and needs of the young people that are referred to us. And we did a national search of the types of assessments that are available to us in the juvenile corrections field. After doing a significant amount of work throughout the past several months, and in light of several of the changes that are going on within the juvenile justice system in Texas, we feel like we are positioning ourselves to better assess kids at the very front end of our system so that we can then apply the types of services and resources to best meet those needs of those kids and those families. So with that in mind, we would like to enter into a contract with the group called Assessments.com. Through the process, we will receive a significant amount of training, the development of an assessment tool that will help us better identify the risk and needs of young people who come in contact with our agency. We do the plan. This is a process that will actually engage us and our staff over the next couple of years as we implement this process. The Juvenile Board approved the contract on November the 7th at our board meeting there, and we just ask for your approval of that contract as well.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. A motion passes unanimously.
The second item on the agenda is a contract with Santa Fe Adolescent Services to implement a program called Brief Strategic Family Therapy. This is the result of a grant that we received and accepted a Justice Mental Health Collaboration Program grant from the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Justice Programs for FY 2008. This program will particularly target as up to 80 youth and their families. What we're attempting to do, again, is develop resources and services at the very front end of our system in an attempt to provide those services that are going to impact kids quickly and involved in the front end of our system to try to eliminate them from continuing in the formal court process that, of course, is a savings to all of us if we're able to be successful with that. So the board, again, approved this contract on November the 7th, and we asked for your approval as well.
motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Santa Fe Adolescent Services.
I'm a bit confused.
Yes, sir.
I don't see it, while the contract references brief strategic family therapy, I don't see them as a signatory to this contract. Why is that?
The Santa Fe Adolescent Services?
Are there two separate contracts?
No, it's just them. They're going to be operating that service.
The service is the brief strategic family therapy, right?
Correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is the service.
Okay. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Beach? Well, you're hiding. You're not supposed to be sitting out of place here. You know, we kind of get in our patterns, and you got to be right back there.
I was displaced by all those people wearing University of Arkansas colors. I'm sorry. Good morning.
With some hesitation, I make the statement that I've got a son at LSU, and I hope I look forward to talking to you next week. Because if I don't, you and Ms. Lamb are going to remind me of that, I'm sure.
We'll both be here. Thank you.
Yes.
We have three items for you.
Arkansas got beat by Louisiana, Monroe, or something?
No, that's Alabama.
That's Alabama.
That's the other A.
That's the other A, yeah, that's right. It's the other A word.
You might ask Melissa how they did this past weekend when Melissa passed.
Would she be in Oklahoma? No.
She would be Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. It's good to know those kind of things, so we'll...
Did you actually drink that coffee?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the penance for losing?
We could work a deal.
I'm just going to be a little reluctant to get into this. Number one teams have not fared well this year. Go right ahead, Mr. Beecham.
Good morning again. We have three items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for RFP number 2008-005 for SAP Enterprise Portal Upgrade for Professional Services. Recommendation be toward the Realtek Incorporated, amount of $198,800.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number two is also a bid award recommendation for bid number 2008-002. This is a bid for environmental graphics and interior signage for the Plaza building. Recommendation be toward the Lassiter Industries, the amount of $31,053.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our last item is also a bid award recommendation in regards to bid number 2007-200. This is a bid for furniture for the Sheriff's Department for the Plaza building. Recommendation will be to award this on a per unit price basis, awarding certain packages to Royer and Schutz, TUSA Office Solutions, and Intelligent Interiors.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I thought we were going to have the other Razorback coming up here.
Good morning, members
Good morning.
of the court. We request your approval of an interlocal agreement with the North Central Texas Council of Governments for the purchase of digital elevation contour data.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, we request your approval of a resolution in support of the recommendations of the Joint Land Use Study Policy Committee. This is in regards to the work that's been done for the Naval Air Station Joint Reserve Base.
Move approval.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Appointments. Any appointments today?
Yes, I have one in the hospital district. I would like to appoint Wayne Williams in place of Harold Samuels, who has served his tenure on that board.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Any other appointments? One thing I might mention, and just as kind of a matter of course on these appointments, what we're doing, or what I would like to propose from my office to do, is to send out, one, a congratulatory letter on the appointment, as well as a letter to the person who's being replaced, thanking them for their service. And if you would be interested in, any kind of certificate of appreciation, bringing them forth or anything along that type lines, my office will get with particular. We can do that, and we can get that prepared and get that done.
I think that would be most appropriate.
Okay. So what we'll do is, on each time we make one of these appointments, then we'll get with the court and see exactly how they want to proceed and what they want us. But we'll be, as a matter of course, issuing those letters and making sure they'll go out of my office.
Okay.
Any other appointments at this time? You have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the claims, including the addendum. Please vote. The motion passes unanimously. Briefing items, Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, we're going to take these somewhat out of order. We have two items to bring to the court this morning. We're going to start with item B concerning the tax exemption of goods in transit. Mr. Mendez is here to address the court at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor. What we're talking about here is a new type of tax exemption for goods that are moving through the state. As you will recall, regular Freeport tax exemption is limited to goods that are shipped out of the state within 270 days. This new type of tax exemption would apply to what is called goods in transit, and it is an exemption that would apply to tangible personal property that is stored in a location whose owner did not have a direct or indirect ownership of the property where the personal property is, and may be held no more than 175 days before being forwarded to another location, either in the state or out of the state. So the difference is this goods in transit exemption applies to goods being transported not only out of the state but also anywhere within the state. A little bit of history on this. Back in 2001, during the 77th legislative session, SJR 6 by Senator Duncan out of Lubbock passed, and that constitutional amendment, which was then called Proposition 10, did pass by a vote of the public statewide. But the enabling legislation, which would allow that to go into effect at that time, did not pass, and that was due to the efforts largely of local government taxing units working together to block that legislation. We managed to keep it blocked from coming back up again for the next couple of sessions, but this last session, the 80th session during this past spring, the issue came up again, but it was limited to application to just counties bordering along the border. And it made some kind of sense at that point because they were competing with warehouses just on the other side of state lines and in Mexico. As the bill got out of the House, it went over to the Senate, and Senator Duncan once again opened it up statewide, and it passed in that form. So now we have enabling legislation in place which puts into effect the constitutional amendment that was passed in 2001. So without the court taking action to maintain the taxation of these goods in transit, it will automatically go into effect this coming January. And so what it requires, the statute requires that a public hearing be held before the court consider taking any action to that effect. And what we've gotten from the Tarrant Appraisal District, which is included in your packet, is an estimate as to how much value would be lost to the various taxing entities in the state or in Tarrant County. For Tarrant County,
proper, it would be an approximate loss of $2.9 billion of taxable value. And of course, that would apply to the hospital district as well. The emergency services district, it would be about $11 million worth of value that would disappear off the rolls. So I believe the staff recommendation would be that we do have that public hearing and that we do opt out of this particular exemption.
When would you suggest that we have the public hearing?
What we're going to do is we're coordinating with the hospital district board of managers and also the emergency services district. We've worked with the district attorney's office on this, and our recommendation is that I believe the hospital district meets on the 13th of this month of December, and I believe that emergency services meets the first week of December. We're going to ask that they take action to not grant the exemption and then come back to the court after that. It looks like because of the timing, that special called meeting of the court that we're going to have between December 11th and December 31st is going to be the time that we'll be able to put this on the agenda, conduct the public hearings, and ask that you vote to not grant the exemption at that time.
One of the things I would suggest, I know that yesterday the governor called a special election for December the 18th.
That's correct.
Which means that we're going to be canvassing our votes somewhere between the 26th probably and the 29th. So I might suggest, if possible, that we try to have that meeting somewhere on that same date so that we don't, so that we can kind of coordinate.
We'll do it all together, and in all likelihood, we're probably looking at we want to get with elections first to make sure our dates coincide, but probably at that Thursday, the 27th of December.
I think it has to be somewhere between the 8th and the 11th day, which would fit in that category. So
yes,
it just seems to me that any time we have the opportunity to give our ad valorem taxpayers some relief, we ought to take it, and this is such an opportunity.
So what you will see is that that when we get to that point on the 27th or the 28th, that we will post the public hearings. We'll come in and do 3 public hearings, one on ours, one on the hospital district, and one on emergency services district, and then ask that the court take action on each of those 3 particular items.
Okay. Thank you very much. Next.
Your Honor, we can now go to item number A, or item A. Item A concerns streaming video and our e-minutes. Mr. Singleton is here to address the court at this time.
Good morning.
Good morning.
About 2 years ago, we started on a process to enhance the court's ability to communicate with the public through the video that we do plus the agenda management system. And today, actually last week, we streamed video for the first time live over the internet. Today, we want to demonstrate that for you along with the agenda management system. And Suzanne will talk about the minutes portion of that in just a second. As I said, about 2 years ago, we put in some equipment in the back room behind Commissioner Brooks, which is a small production area, which includes 5 cameras that you'll see in this room, so we can broadcast and also give those broadcasts to the various communities that have public access channels. And then, as you know, earlier this year we implemented a new agenda management system, the SIRE system, and now we're doing the video part of that, which takes the agenda management system and the video and puts them together. So people can watch it live over the internet, which actually there's a 15-second delay, or they can watch it after a meeting. One of the things that we're going to demonstrate today is the live part of that, and I think Jim's going to switch that here in a second. People can watch it live over the internet, which actually there's a 15-second delay, or they can watch it after a meeting. Now we're going to go. One of the things that we're going to demonstrate today is the live part of that, and I think Jim's going to switch that
here in a second. Okay. Now we're going to go to the county's website. And so that was actually going out over the internet. So next week, if LSU wins, you won't be embarrassed over the internet.
Well,
but
if
if they
lose,
do,
well, I'm going to be embarrassed over the internet. I can guarantee you that.
They'll just use that 15-second delay to wipe out your colorful language.
Okay, I think Jim's going to switch to the website. Internet.
Well,
but
if
if
they
they do,
lose, well, I'm going to be embarrassed over the internet. I can guarantee you that.
They'll just use that 15-second delay to wipe out your colorful language.
Okay, here we go. Apparently we didn't practice. This is the county's homepage. If you'll notice that the yellow bar is the one that says Commissioners Court Agenda. If we'll click on that link first. And these next two pages, we're actually going to do some enhancements too over the next few weeks. But you click the Commissioners Court web broadcast and scroll down, and you'll notice that first of all, it says upcoming events. That's today's video. So if someone wanted to watch the video right now, see the agenda, they can do that right now. But we're going to go to last week's meeting. You'll click video. Oh, that's... Apparently we're having technical issues.
With Access Group for the filming of a television commercial in the historic courthouse.
I move approval, but don't they have any courthouses in Wausau, Wisconsin?
Yeah, we need to
Not
not
like
the
ours.
website.
Not any that-
Jim,
I turned off the volume.
we're having issues. Sorry. Anyway, on the
Everybody knows we're
website.
having issues now, so don't worry about it.
I'm sorry?
I said everybody knows we're having issues now, or they will in 15 seconds.
Right. But on the website, you'll be able to pull up the agenda for last week's meeting. And if you click on the hyperlink for that, it'll automatically jump to the video at that point in the meeting. So if you did proclamations, you can pick the proclamation. It'll bring up the video part of that, and they can watch it at that point. Also, Suzanne will be talking about it'll also have a minutes link to it also, and I believe that Suzanne will be talking about that now.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Jay. County clerks have been keeping the minutes of Tarrant County Commissioners Court meetings since it was created in 1849. We have moved from handwritten notes and bound journals to carbon copy typing paper to digital notes stored on hard drives and computer disks. This month, the recording of minutes will take its first steps into the 21st century as we merge written and visual elements together to create the first set of e-minutes in Tarrant County. Jay has already explained how the streaming video project will enhance and improve public access to Commissioners Court meetings beyond what can be provided by cable broadcasting. The county clerks has made an additional investment of $65,000 that will synchronize and cross-link the minutes with the video that will allow elected officials, the support staff, and the public to access topics discussed by the court during any subsequent meeting by using a simple keyword search. The software called Minute Manager will incorporate minute annotations, count votes, and more. This information will be included in the webcast of public meetings and will have the content displayed with the video and other documents. These products work with the current SIRE agenda management system for a seamless process from a department submission of agenda items to post-meeting viewing and minutes production. Agenda items can be indexed in real time, and archives are automatically published to the county's website. Not only do these projects allow greater public access to our meetings, but they also allow greater staff efficiencies through this access. We are proud to continue Tarrant County's reputation for being on the leading edge of using technology to improve the services it provides to its residents. I'd like to thank this court for your cooperation and support of this project. My counterparts around the state tell me some of their courts are not willing to have this type of exposure, so I commend you for allowing us to go forward. I also want to thank the county administrator, G.K. Manis, the staff, Jay Singleton and Judy Scott, Information Technology Department, Steve Smith, Kurt Butcher, Ken Fisher, and Rick O'Neill. And last but not least, my staff, Christy Rienga, Jacqueline Calloway, and Connie Onley, for their commitment and dedication to upgrading our Minute-Maker automated system. And congratulations to all of you, for next week we will be global. Thanks.
Thank you, Suzanne. We appreciate that. Mr. Manius, anything further at this time?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Let me ask one question. I meant to ask before Reed got out of here, but he's gone. But is the city of Fort Worth going to hold their election the same date as
Yes, they are.
the other elections? So
Yes,
it'll
sir.
be on the 18th?
Yes, sir.
Right.
I thought I read that in the paper this morning, but then I heard something different, so I thought I'd better.
Yeah, I think they had originally planned for the 11th, but all along had thought as soon as and the state canvassed their votes yesterday, and then that's when they made their announcement, go with the 18th. There being no other business, Commissioners Court will now recess the open session and proceed to closed session to discuss items exempted under sections 551.071, 072, 074, 076, and 087 of the Texas Government Code. Back to order.
Your Honor.
I would like to ask the court if we could do a reconsideration and vote again on the appointment to the hospital district of Dr. Wayne Williams.
That's a motion? Motion for reconsideration?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to reconsider the appointment of Wayne Williams for the hospital board. All those in favor of the reconsideration? Motion passes 3-1 abstention.
Wait. Now you want to vote for that?
You wanted to vote for that, I think.
For the reconsideration,
Well,
yes.
Reconsideration.
It's for.
Yes.
Okay, now we're voting on the motion. We have well, no, I don't think you want to make the motion.
The motion is to appoint Wayne Williams to replace Harold Samuels on the board of directors at the hospital district.
We have a motion and a second to appoint Wayne Williams. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes 3 with 1 abstention.
Your Honor, that's all we have at this time.
We are now adjourned.
Yes, we are.